$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. A couple of things. I'm going to talk about a couple of things here. I'm going to get away from what I actually want to talk about, because, brothers and sisters, it's a shockwave coming. A very powerful shockwave that's going to blow away this country and blow you away too. If you have a firm foundation, if you're well rooted, shockwaves, and even if you go into YouTube and social media, they're telling you the same thing. They say shockwaves, even then, I've been telling you for years, so they even see it. Shockwaves is coming, it's coming fast. Hit you any day now, maybe any minute, but it's coming. And it's one wave after another. Because the next one's going to be greater than the next one. One after another, like the scripture says, right? Right? One calamity after another, each one worse than the one before. You're already experiencing some of it. High oil price charges, high food costs. That's coming, it's coming. It's going to blow away this country. Blow it away. We have firmly rooted, blown away with it. Now I'll point out a couple of things here. First of all, I noticed, see Farrakhan, let's talk about Farrakhan for a minute. And I got at the end of this presentation, I have a video that's going to back up what I'm saying. Farrakhan is not subjection, not spirit theory. He's owned by the United States government. There's a FBI document, and you can easily check the document out. His numbers I made up. That what their plan was, after they couldn't touch Elijah. Elijah's not longer around. What they're going to do, and there's 2 points to it: either take control of the Nation of Islam or eradicate it. I mean, it no longer exists, or have control of it. There was only 2 options. So, if it still exists, that means they've taken control of it. They said, how do they want to take control of it? They outlined this in detail. What kind of controls they want to have over it. I mean, this stuff, brothers and sisters, you can't make this stuff up. And the document's there. They said, if you want to know the truth, you can know the truth. But it says the people that's with him had no love for the truth. They didn't care for the truth. But they was like Farrakhan. They like the smell of his ass. It's like they like the taste of it. Right? They hooked on his ass. Right? They got hit so far up, they hooked on it. It's got addictive. Right? You can pull the head out if you want to. They'll kill you if you pull the head out their ass, out Farrakhan's ass. Man, what you doing that for, man? I like it here. I like the view. Right? And I got all that brown stuff up there, man, all that honey. Man, right? Seriously. Because there's no way in the world an intelligent person, an original person, would be with him for 5 seconds. Without what I'm getting ready to show you, right? There's no scripture that says I get $5,000. You can show me one scripture anywhere, Bible or Quran, to support that. You can't. But the point is that this is what happened. Now they said, some of the things they said they wanted to change, stop the self-hatred of whites. There was any devils anymore. Farrakhan saying, and he don't mean it to be polite, because he's saying that his brother, we got pictures saying that his brothers, Father Flake is going into paradise. Ooh, right? And I'm saying that, hey, they don't have a wicked nature, as they've been influenced just like we are. This Farrakhan's talking. You won't find anything Elijah said that's remotely related to that. That's one of the things, right? Stop the race hatred. Stop the separation. We're not going anywhere. That was Elijah's fourth foundation message: separation Pharaoh said, we're not going anywhere. So he's giving what they want, plus calling God a liar, because God made a covenant, said that after 40 years, we was returning home to Arabia. It doesn't say, are we getting out of religion, out of our ways? It says specifically, it says between the river Euphrates and the river Egypt, and that's you. And you look on the map, that's Arabia. But he said we're not going, was calling God a liar, plus he getting away with it, because they said, stop that. Then they said, make it into a Scientology. That's a, I don't think that's the word they used, but that's what they meant. I probably used the wrong word. But it turned into, like I guess it's in other words, Scientology, self-improvement. I think it's self-improvement, I think it was. I may be getting it wrong. Anyway, you get the point. He gave him that, Scientology. Okay. Or turned from a religious into a self-help or whatever. So in other words, every point that they said they wanted, Farrakhan has given them. And one of the things held Farrakhan's head, because Farrakhan's a liar, he's a coward. He's mostly a coward. He's definitely a coward. Because, I don't know if you know this, I don't know if you could check, they may, well, anyway. The information was, I got this many years ago, so it's been a while. I don't know if those people are still alive or what. But the ones that supposed to have killed Malcolm, that they arrested, that they charged for that and convicted, they did not have him in prison in normal population. They didn't have him even solitary, right? They in a former solitary, but they had them totally isolated in like minivans, like those mobile homes, small mobile home. They had isolated there, but had no contact with anyone. Even the guards. They couldn't communicate with guards. Guards would slip food under the desk and get it, but they had no communication. So he said, why they went? No one could. They were separate. They wasn't like, I think it was 2 or 3 of them. They was totally separate. They didn't see each other. They didn't see anybody else. All they ever saw, and I don't think they even saw the guard because they had no windows. So all they know is got the food under there. They had no communication with anybody. So why you say that's worse than solitary confinement? Right? They didn't want to be able to tell anybody whatever they was hiding, whatever. So they took Farrakhan, and you should be able to relate to this. They took Farrakhan, if you don't play ball with us, because they said they had to find who could they turn around. That was their statement. Who can they turn around to do their bidding? They told Farrakhan, if you don't do this bid, we're going to charge you. We're going to have these people. Now imagine if you're in that situation and you've been there for I don't know years, right? Because maybe when Malcolm was killed, in the 60s, Elijah departed in 75. So at least 10 years maybe. So if you've been in that situation, you do anything to get out of that. Anything. Now whether they lied or not, do anything. So they told him that if you don't play ball with us, right, we're going to have these people testify that you're the one that conspired with them to kill Malcolm. They're following your orders. There was no way they wouldn't go along with that. Plus, there's no jury in the United States that wouldn't convict him on that. Because, right, he's hated, he's a raider and all that, right? You see what I'm saying? So he knew if they did, he was going to jail. If Farrakhan, and he wouldn't be isolated. They put him on, they told him, we put you in general population. Now you got all those black folks out there, they in love with Malcolm, and they've been told, he come and they say, this is the guy that had Malcolm killed. No, they wouldn't kill Farrakhan right away. They make him Farrakhan. Walking around with a little lipstick and a little dress on. Right? So, I like it here. This is what I like it here. This is my boyfriend. He likes me. You think that's a joke? No, that's what it's for. And so he gave everything he wanted. He's still under their control. They still own him. He got to say things, he got to talk tough, but listen to what he's saying. He's not speaking against the devils, because there's no devils anymore. He's not speaking against America. He wants to save America. He's not saying like he's not addressing us. Has he built anything for black folks? He got rich off of you. He's a multimillionaire, but he hasn't built anything for some years. He didn't have some economic programs, but that's it. He wasn't supposed to, that was part of the deal. He wasn't supposed to be doing that anymore. Doing their own stuff. You don't do it anymore. Well, it's the same thing. So he hasn't built anything. He taking money, he's rich and his son is rich. Nation of Islam. I'm producing the damn thing. Rob Nation of Islam, just like it says in Malachi. So he gave me everything. So you can, now if you can prove I'm wrong, I'll give you $5,000. Then I said, it's absolutely right. And so, and they told him, he got a little rambunctious, right? You can talk tough, but be careful how you say. I guess that stuff he didn't like too much. So it blew his ass up with that cancer. Make sure he got the message. Make sure he got the message. Because he said he had cancer. He said the problem is that what made it worse is that they put radiation capsules behind that was too much radiation. And so they cut all the stuff out. But he could have God protect him. What kind of protection was that? No. They send a message to him, right? Hey, remember we told you. Because since he had that cancer, he ain't been talking tough anymore. Has he? Has he? Hmm? Yeah, he told him. And right now he's been kissing on the devils and everything else. Because they told him, hey, you ain't doing enough, Farrakhan. So after that, he started kissing on the devils, polyphagia, all this kind of stuff. That's what told him. They own him. And you're going to find him in a minute. He's going to be out in a minute. I'm out in him now, but you're going to be officially out in a minute. Because he's gone. See? He's a coward. That's what he told him. They threatened Elijah Muhammad. Said, when Elijah went to about 4 years, stayed through World War II, they told him, if you can just stop preaching this while the war's going on, we'll leave you alone. See, well, that's Elijah Muhammad. He said, hell no, I'm going to continue preaching. So they threw him in jail. He didn't have to. All he had to do was say, okay, just be quiet while the war was going on. That's what he had to do. They told him. So he said, no. See, Farrakhan would do that to Brother. I'm the only leader that never been in jail because they got you. You have undercover agents. He got to say things that sound like he's, but really, you see these undercover agents. So you can take it or leave it. But when I'm going to show you then, I'm going to show you the actual FBI document, and what they had planned and what they expected, and see if Farrakhan fulfilled every field, not just one point, every point. He fulfilled every one of them. So let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, now I got another one. Now the thing is, see, Farrakhan is drying up. It says, who the Lord consume, that means he's drying up. He consumes it. You consume it, as you consume it, you're getting rid of it. Spit of his mouth and destroy. So once he finished consuming them, then you destroy them. But once you destroy it, you totally consumed. And that's what's happening now. That's why I said, well, you can't take personal stuff, Farrakhan. Really? I'm called shit. If you don't like it, that's your problem. That's what he is. Okay? So the thing is he's drying up. He can't even feel his main mouth on Sunday. When Elijah was there, when the temple was there, that place was full every day of the week. And standing room only. At any rate, and when the message came out, it was like people all around the block on Stony Island Avenue. At any rate, because I was there. At any rate, he's drying up. And so you got another group out there. See, another thing they said, they want to have many groups out there to confuse people. To make sure if anyone survives, they want to make sure the groups that keep people confused. That was another one. That's why you got all these Eric out there, all these clowns saying this stuff. Now, have you asked them, have they broke the seals? That's the undeniable clue to who Son of Man is, because he breaks the seal. And they haven't. It's one thing, I haven't heard any of them claim they broke the seals yet. So they're lying, but I'd like to hear it if they say they have. Right? They have anyway. So they're all out there, right? And one of the major contenders of Farrakhan is Silas. And no, Silas and Wallace followers. Those are two major contenders, right? Because he was with Wallace. Now he badmouthed the mess and everything. He was with Wallace. We got him on tape with Wallace. And they stole the money. Him and Wallace, he stole the money and everything else together. Took off. The thing is that Wallace people, in fact, Farrakhan's teaching a lot of Wallace stuff. Because he don't believe in he doesn't teach the lessons. I tell you, get $5,000, you show me that he teaches the lessons. He don't. He goes against all of them. He said, devil cannot be reformed, but yet he's going to reform him. So he told Master Muhammad, who claims the God, he called him a liar. If you read the lessons and read the he called him God a liar. That's a covenant. Unbreakable covenant. We're going home he said, we're not going where? So he called him God a liar. And then he called him God a liar in the lessons, because he says, hey, devils ain't devils, and they can be reformed, and they're not even devil by nature. They be influenced like we be influenced. But the bottom line is that Wallace was teaching that Sunni stuff. He was getting paid by House of Saud too. And I can prove that. I'm move on. So the bottom line is that Wallace, they see Farrakhan drying up, right? And they want to be able to down on the carcass, what's left. And so they got this thing out, I'm going to show you in a minute. Well, Ali's first wife, whatever. And it's total lies. But it's them that did it, because they saying in there that Elijah said that he wanted to, he told everybody they're supposed to stop believing in him and believing in what he says. He says, I'm going to give it to my son and let him teach the true Islam. Elijah said, never say anything like that, not even close. So, like I said, you don't have to see the wind, just to see the leaves. So you see, based on what they're saying here, that's what they're doing. They set her up to sit there and got nonsense. So if you listen to what she's saying, listen to what she's saying. I'm going to show you in a minute. Look what she's saying. But she's saying that's what should be over there with them. But that's what Elijah's wish was. Because he says, I'm going to start teaching, let my son teach the true Islam. I'm not going to teach this other stuff anymore. So in other words, he's saying Elijah calling himself a liar. I mean, it's incredible. So let me see if this is next. I'm trying to keep this. It's incredible. But first this. See, you don't have to take my word for it, bro. It says this stuff is out there available. I'm going to show you a link where Farrakhan says his father's the devil. So did you take biology? Who has a seed? The man. The egg is just, it's alive, but it's not, it's living material, but it's not conscious, it's not alive. Sperm it's conscious. So you are what your father is, whether you like it or not, you are what your father is. And he says, I got the link, you go look at it, it's out there. And so I tell you right there, he could not be part of the seed of Abraham. He could not be the Messiah, because the Messiah comes out of the line of David. That's his father right there. They even show you a picture of his father, Percival Clark, who he claims raped his mama. You can read, this is some of the text in there, but you can read it at your own leisure. So here's the link. There's a link right there. Right? And it tells you where you can find information, official information, because he said it was in a Journal Weekly or whatever. I can't think of it. Anyway, but that's the site where it was. It also tell you, also tell you what magazine that was published. You go back and look. The magazine was Journal Weekly Journal. I guess that's what that stands for, right? And the edition was 1996, April 26th. So you go and look and see if it's in there. And so if you get that, what do you do then? Unless you're a demon, well, he can't possibly, he's lying. He can't possibly be the Messiah. He claims his father's the devil. So I'm a couple of things here. See, to prove my point here. See, he's talking, look at, I'm reading part. So God would have to, at the end of Satan's time, raise one whom he would back his power to give him strength and courage and tell the truth that now. He's saying it's Elijah. Elijah said no such thing, not even close. But this is what he's saying. He says, so, that we're only free black people, right here, we're only free black people from the oppressive hand of their tormentors. This truth that he claims that God has given him will not only free black people from the oppressive hand of their tormentors, we claim that he claims what Elijah taught. He claims what Elijah taught. That's a goddamn lie. I taught nothing like that, not even close. I was there. I was with Elijah for 5 years. I was my mama speaking foreman, midnight foreman, right? Okay. My wife, at that time she passed. Her brother was a minister, and I think in Indiana, right? And she ran an MGT dress shop, so she knew the minister, had conversation with him. She knew Farrakhan too, right? And every other minister didn't say anything like this. Our life has taught us this. So God would have to, at the end of Satan's time, raise one who would back his power to give him strength and courage to tell the truth that would not only free black people from the present hand of torment, but also free white people from the deceptive practice of their people power that manipulate the nature of white people. In other words, they ain't devils, they're not by nature, they're being manipulated like we've been manipulated. And you going to tell that's Elijah's teachings? You going to tell that's in the lessons? That's a message of black man and how you live for all of America, stay alive? You're a goddamn lie if you say that, because it's not even close. But this is Farrakhan saying this, and they show on their Sunday on their webcast, so you know that I'm not making this up. Go back Sunday, and this what they said that Farrakhan was saying. That white folks, in other words, they're not devils, they've been manipulated like we are. And some devil that's not human is doing this. Okay, let's go to the next one. You don't have a problem with that. Look at this one. Now go crying and show me which verse they're crying, right? The nature of God has created nature of obedience to the will of God, and why Holy Quran says every human being is by nature is a Muslim. And Elijah Muhammad taught no such thing, not even close. He said we're Muslims. Said they're devils. Their nature is the devil. You know, no, they're Muslim. Just like us. You want to tell us Elijah Muhammad's teaching? Show me. If you can show me anything Elijah Muhammad taught that even closer, I'll give $5,000. You can't, because it doesn't. Because you know he's a goddamn liar. This is worse. This is worse. But he claimed Elijah Muhammad said it. There's no such thing. So if you still with him, then you with him not because of truth, you because you stupid, ignorant, or you're a demon. We just love eating shit. You got a lot of it, and you love eating shit. You got a lot of it up his ass, and you got your head wrapped to make sure you get all of your drop. I heard y'all got fights over there. I heard y'all stand in line, right? To get your daily shit sandwich. You got to stick his head up the ass to get it. And y'all be fighting. Hey man, it's my turn, man. Help get you. I'll get my therapist. I get my sandwich. Sick. Wesley, probably a doctor. The goddamn idiot. There's nowhere in the world. I mean, he gonna be a doctor? I don't know who he's fooling. He ain't fooling me. Ain't nowhere in the world he could see this if he got any intelligence and follow this shit and say it. He gonna say. I mean, if you call it manure, it's wrong because you call it manure. It's shit. Manure's trying to cover it up, put some seasoning on it. Now you gonna tell me, Wesley, show me. But if this is not true, it means he's lying, telling lying like my man. Both these statements are totally against the lessons, totally. Totally. Okay. And this is, he says War Armageddon started 3 years ago. You seen War Armageddon? They said if you don't say, we said it'll come true, don't listen to him. But that's what this one said, right? I don't see the War Armageddon. My brothers and sisters. Okay, I'm gonna get to my main point here.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadafuddin and I have had disagreement, but his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because we don't like the things about our nation that is not good. But I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
I mean, brothers and sisters, totally against the lessons. Lessons had to be removed. They cannot be redeemed. So, who's wiser, him or Master Prophet Muhammad? He claims he believes Master Prophet Muhammad. He claims he even talked to him. Let's go totally against that. Totally, or you can read it. So the people that claim, and see the thing is, they claim they study those lessons. So they still with Farrakhan. That means they ain't no goddamn good either. And they will get their reward soon. Time has run out. Okay? And this is what God says. Give back to her also as she give back to her double. Right? See? Well, that's God's will. He said in tune with God's will, right? But he said, no, I don't want to go to God's will. I want nothing to happen in America. Why? After all they done to us? You supposed to be the Messiah. Messiah's supposed to bring justice. He's supposed to bring justice and vengeance to our enemies. You know, he wants to bring reconciliation and love. And you want to tell me he's the Messiah? See? It's not Photoshop. That's his husband. See? My fly plays his husband now. Because, you know, he went in his heaven no more. He didn't blow all his stuff away. He's my brother. My dog. They killed brother Colin. See, his problem was, see, around Farrakhan too much, he dropped his guard. See? Like Muhammad tell you to take care of business, watch what you, so he left his security up to some mystery guard. Watch his security for himself. Listen to that Farrakhan crap. See? Farrakhan, I love it here. Yes, he does. He just says so. Okay, let's go on.
If I'm not mistaken, Ali, he left the Nation of Islam, right? Do you know the reason why?
Oh, no, we both did. And in 1975, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about the nation of Islam, he said he was going to give it up and he's going to discontinue it. He said, I want people to start following my son so he can teach you the true Islam. And he said that in a speech. Everybody heard it. And he said, I am going to dissolve the Nation of Islam. Just know you've learned something from it. But there's time for Islam 2.0 or whatever it is. And so you can learn about the true Islam. And we all did. We all transitioned and start following the Imam Wadafuddin Muhammad. And then he said that's what to do, and that's what we did. Louis Farrakhan just wants to keep it going. He made it come. He made it he did it on his own to bring it back. It wasn't Elijah Muhammad's wish. But Louis Farrakhan wanted to bring it back, and he brought it back for whatever reason. He brought it back, but that wasn't the rule.
If I'm not mistaken, Ali, he left the Nation of Islam, right? Do you know the reason why?
Enough of that. No, it's the blue eyes by the devil, most likely a demon. Goddamn lie. And that word, I don't use that word because they use too much word applied to our women, right? But that was a bitch there. Goddamn liar. I'm never saying anything like that, even not even close. Because what she's saying, Elijah was saying that he was, but basically what she was saying, because she's stupid anyway, is Elijah was telling everybody, well, I've been teaching y'all for kids from. I want y'all to teach my brother, my son that. He was teaching brother. So that's what that's what he left saying, oh, I taught y'all false Islam. My son is going to teach you true Islam. So I've been ripping y'all off for 40 years. You think, let me move on. See, because the anger, see, they don't understand. They're going to get this shock of the anger. They said the wrath of the gods. They created wrath of the gods. So why are you so wrathful? You the one created wrath. Because you're saying shit like that is totally wrong. And see, I'm saying that's Wallace's people behind that. Because who benefits from what she's saying? Wallace people. Because she's saying, no, Wallace the man. They put her up to that. Now they paid her whatever. And I'm saying, look at the backstory. See the leaves blowing that way, northward, that means the wind's blowing that way. So who benefits from what she just said? She said, Elijah said, Wallace is the one. So so that's what I'm saying. Wallace people say, they see Farrakhan, right? Folding up. Trying out of what you want to call it, right? And so they figure, hey, they can pick up what's left, the fallout. I said, no, you should have been over here. So I'm not saying, I'm saying I'm using my understanding to make that statement. But I'm saying, who benefits from what she just says? She's saying Farrakhan ain't teaching Islam, but Wallace was. Elijah Muhammad said he was, and Elijah said you should listen to him. See? Talk a couple of things here. See, okay. It says, you see, people understand, you got to read the stories. It says, but I see whoever Abraham see this, all the nations be living off of him. Living off of him. Because all the nations be blessed. You look at blessed, and you think that's a good thing. Because you see the word blessed, but look what the word means. If you understand energy, that's what boil everything down to energy management. Boil down energy and management, then you'll see what they're really saying, because that people be blessed. So you right away you get tripped, just like they say. By this rock I built my church, and all the great help will not prevail against it. And you assume, because it sounds like, hey, and then you really look at what it really says, it's not saying that. See? And then all the nations, that means all the nations are we blessed. Well, how are they blessed? If they blessed, it means they're getting some from us. They're getting some from us. All the nations are getting some from us. Right? And it's to their benefit. All the nations benefit from anything they get from us. So it's enough to make them benefit. And a little bit is a lot. Because they use the word blessed, so it's something that's good. Right? So you look at that and say, well, so who, so if you say, false Israel, see Abraham, then how's all the nations blessed by them? China's not blessed. What's China got? China got nothing from them. They said Russia, a lot of them in Russia. And they ain't got anything from them. We ain't got anything from them. So who see what I'm saying? And whoever they are, everybody's got something from them. And the other thing is that they don't have that energy because they gave it away. All they have it. So in other words, by my people, by my son, all y'all gonna have a lot of money. So that means my son give you all this money, he ain't gonna have any. But if he gives you, he ain't gonna have it. So it gotta be somebody some nation, right, that don't have anything because everybody else have what's belong to them. Now, if they bless them, that stuff, the blessing they have belongs to the person that blessed them. He owe it to him, it would be a blessing. If he give it to him, it's a blessing. If he owe it to him, that's not a blessing, that's repayment. You have to understand these words. If you understand that, then you understand what true Abraham is, because then you go right here and it explains all. It explains all right here. How America got powerful, and Europe got powerful off of black people, especially America off of us. They got rich and powerful off of us. And they got creativity off of us because you ask a simple question. If you can answer this question, then you know then answer so many things. Is China innovative? Let's back off. No, let's just back up to European countries. Is Britain innovative? Is France innovative? Is Germany innovative? Tell me what inventions came out of there. Tell me what inventions came out of those places. They're all Caucasian. Switzerland, ask me. Tell me one that came out of there. Why they all coming out of here? Cars, engines, planes, technology, AI. Why is it all coming out of here? They're Caucasian, or the rest of them, they should be coming all over the places. Just here, because we're here. It tells you in there, it says, Pharaoh told our people that you can't make bricks out of straw anymore. You got to create creative. You got to make it out. You sure got to make bricks, but you can't use straw. That means it's telling you, you got to read this thing. He's telling you got to be creative. I'm not going into all the details about it. But the point is, our creativity and our labor is what made America different and great. So we blessed. So they got blessed because of us being here and taking and controlling our energy, to control our energy. Because we're under their laws, that means you follow their laws, that means your energy is under their control. Your energy has to follow their guidelines. That's what law is. So if you act other than where they want you to act, then you're a criminal. So they control that energy here. And they got rich and powerful because of it. Well, Israel, same thing. They're claiming that they're seed Abraham, so that means everybody's obligated to bless them. It says, who blesses Israel will be blessed, who curses will be cursed. So they claim, so that means everybody said, you got to bless them because I don't want to be cursed. So they get blessings that we would have got if everybody knew what truth Abraham. I mean, that's supposedly, right? Depends on who we talked about. But you understand? So they're taking our identity to get rich. They get rich off our identity by saying, you got to help us. Because why all these evangelicals, if they're helping Israel, they said, we got to help them. We got to bless them. Because God said it. God didn't say that. Jesus said, the preacher called Jesus said either. That's why they crucified him. Because he said, no, you're lying. Your father's the devil. So you do his works. And that's why they went to Herod and said, you got to crucify that. They were killed because you got to silence him. Read it. They went to Herod and said, you got to kill because he exposed who we are. And it says in Revelation, those who said Jews are not, they're synagogue of Satan. So that's why he had them killed, because he was exposed to who they are. They was liars. And so they get rich off of identity. And then you got how to start. Remember, the covenant said that's our land. Between River Euphrates and River Egypt. Go look at our map. You can take a word for it. That's Arabia. So that means everything in Arabia belongs to us. In the ground, underground, above the ground. So they get rich off of our land. All of everything else there. If they got rich and get on nothing else, that's our land. And then Farrakhan, son of a devil, get rich off of. It tells you how he got rich. It tells you in Malachi, off of offerings and tithes. That means you're giving money to them and he put in his pocket. He been asking my economic program for years. You seen the economic program? That's it. He'd be robbing the people on the stuff they donating to the nation to help them to build it, but he'd be putting in his pocket. That's what it says in Malachi. So it said be cursed with a curse, cursed with a cancer, because he's robbing the nation. It says he was robbing the nation, not the church, not a synagogue, robbing a nation. And what nation were they talking about? The nation Elijah Muhammad was set up, Master Muhammad was set up. That they say nation, don't they? So who said Elijah was seat after? And it tells you right there in Exodus that the one setting Elijah's seat after Elijah left tore mess up everything. God told Elijah to get back down. That fool is going to teach. It says right there in Exodus. See? So they got all our stuff. We got nothing. So that's what true Abraham. That means the challenge is we got to take all that back. That's the apocalypse. Not Armageddon. Armageddon is the European war. The apocalypse is taking everything, and the apocalypse because they're going to resist. They're going to resist. Pharaoh said, we ain't letting them go. For us, Israel, they're over there, right? They fighting to hold on to try to they control all the land over there. And then our creativity, creativity. We brought an industrial revolution that gets out the fields. We're going to AI that gets out of construction work, whatever. Those are ideas we can prove it. And they come out of Germany, they come out, none of those places, why come out here? So if you plant a seed, you should get the fruit of it, right? The fruit of coming at these ideas, industrial revolution, AI, would be industry, factories, industry, right? They didn't have, but no, for 5,500 years, there was horse and buggy. They didn't get this, they got us. That's another proof that they got it, getting it from us. For 5,500 years, devils, white folks, Caucasian was a horse and buggy. No about electricity, no about AI, no about industrial revolution, machines, none of that stuff. They didn't get it until they got us. That means it came from us. And that's why all other European countries didn't have it. Just here. 5,500 years they had enough. So now they got it. And so we get an idea. So the fruits of it is industrial factories, manufacturing, all that kind of stuff, right? Industry. And so AI, right? The fruit of that is, right? AI program, systems, all that kind of stuff, right? So we should get the fruit of that, right? Since we the seed, we plant the seed for it, with the root of it, with the cause of it. But then I want you to, in other words, they want you to plant the trees. Remember, when we was in the fields, we planted the trees, but we couldn't eat the fruit. We planted potatoes, we couldn't eat the potatoes. We plant all those stuff in them, we couldn't eat it. They fed shitless. So we didn't get the fruit of what was benefit. We didn't get the benefit of our labor. And then, so what happened is they said we got to keep us poor under control. So once we established the Industrial Revolution, they saw, hey, because who was the best at it anyway? They sent it all to China. Nobody does that. They sent all industrial jobs to China. Because they want you to have them. But then you start getting control of your energy. You start waking up. And AI, same thing. I went to the program. I'm not going to go into details. AI was another thing. They found that we was the best at it. And they said, hell no with that. And they brought the Indians instead to do it. So they didn't get the food. So that's what, so all this benefit of us. All of it. And they ain't giving it up. That's what say one of the last wars would be the 10 horns on it. Who 10 horns? If you understand Daniel, understand Revelation, 10 horns is China, India. That's the last one to make war with the Lamb. We're not let do one war more after that. Because we have control of Central Arabia. I say you got to add 2 and 2 together, brothers, to make connect the dot. Once we get control, once you go home, control Arabia, now we have they totally put oil in Arabia, but now we're control it. We said, no, we ain't giving you shit. Because you knew when they gave those jobs, you knew they know. They know that those jobs they're getting is they got it because they must have it. So they complicit. They didn't say, no, man, I ain't gonna take that because that's your people's job, man. I ain't gonna take that. It's like, here you got a little bit of food, your baby's hungry, right? And you say, this guy be hungry. Well, I'm gonna take food out the baby's mouth and get to the man, I ain't gonna take that, man. That's your baby's food, man. I ain't gonna take that's your baby's food. What's wrong with you? I'm gonna eat it. Because they know they're taking these jobs that we should have had. If we'd had them, we'd been as powerful as they are in America. We couldn't have that. And so once we get to the oil, then they're going to come and attack. Because they're going to try to wrest it from us. Because remember, their reality is based on oil too. We're cutting all this off. Kind of winter, getting rid of all winter. We understand, bro. So I'm kind of leave it here. You understand what's going on here? I'm trying to get you to understand what's going on right now. And that right now, everything is right on the line because there's two primary things: oil, fuels reality, and money manages it. And both of those are on the line right now. And Iran is getting ready, is got them by you know what? And as soon as the missiles gonna start flying again, they said when it's flying again, they're gonna knock out, take control of Arabia. It's going to, Europe, chapter 18, Europe will go immediate economic collapse, immediate. And the only thing going to bail them out is Russia. So when Russia bails them out, they're going to turn against America. That's Armageddon, because now America's fighting over it. And you already see there's a problem between NATO, Europe, and America right now. See, all the time I've been telling you is building. I've been telling you this thing for years. I said they're going to be it's going to be a war, and the war Armageddon, there's going to be Russia and Europe against America. Now, all of a sudden, you see America and Europe in conflict. Anyway, that's what's happening right now. It ain't years away, it's moments away. Right? Because Iran's not backing down. They try to have some meeting. Iran said, I'm not even pinning a meeting. Go for it, do what you want to do. But if you attack us, you sneeze on us, we're going to devastate the Middle East, all that oil, we're going to take control of the whole Middle East. And going to wipe out false Israel. And that's exactly what Scripture says is going to happen, chapter 12. So it's going to happen any day now. It could happen today, tomorrow. It's happening right now. But it's going to happen any day now. I'm not talking about, not weeks from now. It's going to happen any day now. Based on, no one knows about Master Muhammad. Right? I was a bed man. I say it's definitely within a week, too. And once it happens, that tsunami hits here, the powerful shock wave, that'll never be changed. It's going to wash over it like a flood. A tidal wave comes in, wash away everything. Everything's washed away. Economy's going to be washed away. The government's going to be washed away. All industry, all electronics, all stuff. All things that hold you to this reality is going to be gone because it's going to be any reality to hold on to. So then you have been forced to take control of your reality instead of giving control over to these devils. United. See, that's where you need an angel. Because that's the GPS. Also, strengthening. Right? Get your hell out of here. You got to start thinking mathematically and going in the right direction. See, and demons have no choice. When they receive it, their choice is they're going to try to revive America. Take over America and revive it. And they're going to go 5 months and say that's the locust war they see in Revelations. That's them. And they're going to be defeated after about 5 months. When China and India can roll in. This time next year, if America's still around, they're going to be roaming the streets of America if it's still around. That's what's happening, brothers. That's where we are. That's what's going on. It's time for us to take back everything they took from us. Right? That's what it says. America's on plagues. I'm talking about this plagues next week. We have time. I already talked about this plague. Plague of flies is this anti-Semitic stuff. It's not stored together. All the plague. America's hit with these plagues. COVID was one of the first plagues. But nobody's telling you stuff. Ask about abomination, desolation. It's happening right before your eyes, but nobody's talking about it. That's what's going on there. Look up abominable. Look at the root word abominable. It says the uprising was put down with great cruelty. Wow. Ain't that exactly what's happening over there? The uprising, October 7th, be put down with great cruelty, genocide. But how can no one's talking about it? War in heaven, chapter. They ain't talking about that either. They don't talk about it from that perspective. Oh, well, and I don't know what's going to happen. It's bad over there. We know exactly what's going to happen if you study Injil. It's their destruction. I said what would happen. I said all American forces be thrown out of the Middle East. Isn't that what's happening? Isn't that mostly what's happened already? All says it's going to be under siege when America, because they said it would be able to help them. And right now they're not helping because they said they don't have any missiles or anything to stop the ones that Iran got coming in. So they're going to be abandoned, and then under siege, and then burned down. And America, all America's forces, right, that's left the Middle East, where they going? They're going into Europe. Because America got thousands of bases in Europe, at least hundreds anyway. So they run into Europe. But at the same time, when the missiles start flying again, right, Europe's going to go into total economic collapse because the oil is going to be under Iran's control. They're going to stop it because they're saying you is helping America, so they're going to stop it. So that's economic collapse. Economic collapse come, right? The only one to get oil from is Russia because we have plenty of oil. So okay, we buddy now. Then what happens to all the troops there in Europe, American troops? Now, remember, because they're in conflict with Russia. So now, America has rushed in to protect their troops because their troops are under fire from Europe too. And Russia. That's Armageddon. Armageddon will be a war with America fighting Europe, right? NATO, so-called NATO, European Union, and Russia. They're going to turn against them. They have no choice. If they want oil, they want to keep their society from free they keep going. They have to say, okay, side with Russia, Russia give them oil. That's what's about to happen. That's what happened. While they're doing that, I mean, you could just think the man. While they're doing that, remember, they fighting, they tearing each other apart, right? Whose advantage is that? China, India. Then they become superpowers. Because remember, America's, they're using up all their missiles and everything else, so now they don't have anything to fight back with because they're fighting each other. So they ain't got time to focus on China and India, do they? So now India, that's the goat in Daniel. And the goat rises now because that's why it says the dragon had 7 heads and 10 horns and has crowns on his horns, on his heads. The European countries. But then this other beast came, he had the same one. 7 heads, 10 horns, but the crown's on the horns. That means a change in superpower, to shift over to China and India, they become superpowers. And they say, America's in trouble. They bow down over in the Middle East. I mean, they bow down in Europe. And America's being torn apart internally because total economic collapse here. So they say, let's take out America while we can before they don't let them get back on their feet. And then they come and invade America. That's why I said the goat came from the west, his feet not touching land. That means only place I could be, it has to be talking. You can't talk about if you're talking about the Atlantic Ocean, then you're talking about the goat has to be America because it's coming from the west to the east, so it had to be America going to attack Europe. It's the only way you can, because feet don't touch land means it has to come across the ocean. So if you're saying that's the case, if you think that's the case, then go for that. Otherwise, it has to be from the Pacific Ocean on the west coast of the fish, that would be China, India, because they right on, that's their coastline. So it has to be somebody their coast has to be there, not inland. Because man, if their feet don't touch land, if they was further in, they had to come across China. That means they have to feet touch land. But if you don't touch land, that means they're right there on the coast. The only one on the coast there on China, on that is China, India. And they feel touch land, so they come over to America, whose also coastline is California and everything on the east. And it says that the goat, remember the goat represents is the same is a transformation of a leopard. What's good about a leopard? How do you describe leopard? Yellow, brown spots. Can you clear that? Isn't that China, India? Yellow, brown spots. That's the goat. And they're going to come and tear this country apart. And that's going to happen within a few days. So let me lay this out quickly for you. What's happening right here? I didn't go into the part where Trump is against the wall, but the bottom line is the war will continue. The missiles going to be flying. If they're not flying right now, when they start flying, Iran said when they start flying, they're going to knock out totally all the countries in the Middle East. They're going to take control. When they can take control, that means you got a catastrophic shockwave whole world, because people need oil to keep this thing going, and now it's cut off. And Europe was totally dependent upon the oil from there, total economic collapse. Follow an economic collapse in America, but that's because of Armageddon, right? You will have economic trouble, but the actual collapse will come when America has to go and protect its troops in Europe, because I just told you that Europe sides with Russia in order to maintain their economy. You understand? So that's what you're gonna see. So now you got Armageddon over there. You got total insurrection over here. But now the economy collapses. No food, cannibalism, the whole 9 yards. Everybody's against each other. Right? Of course, this was abandoned because America's focused in Europe. It was abandoned. Right? They cut off because they depend on oil and water and all that stuff. And it takes them out. So now they don't find they're not being using nuclear weapons. So now they getting a taste of what they did to Gaza. So they're under siege and being destroyed. So look at it. False Israel, off the board, like they say, on fire, right? The source of this reality is under control of Iran and Master Muhammad. He's the God, said Michael and his angels. Got that? Israel abandoned and being destroyed. It's under siege. Iran out of control. Syria is going to be revived. Under Master Muhammad's guys, control of this oil, which all these nations depend upon. And Europe results in total economic collapse in Europe because they deny Europe any oil, which means they got to side with Russia against America because it's the economy. So now you got Armageddon over in Europe. You follow me so far? And now you got, and then that causes, because now the oil that America has, they have to use it to fight Armageddon. So now you have total economic collapse here, insurrection, right? Government can't control it. Total chaos here. Now in that situation, you have chaos here, false Israel, lost, all gone, just about going, burning down, Armageddon over in Europe. They fight with each other, all totally distracted. And so you got China, India, sitting back. It doesn't happen to them. They need oil from the Middle East. They said China has a large reserve. Right? So right now, America's getting their ass kicked. She bogged down over there. Once Israel's gone, on the way out, America's totally in disarray. Everybody's fighting each other. And China and India, man, they said, hey, it's our chance. It's our chance. We can take America now because they can't fight back. Or they don't have any equipment. Their boats and everything are being destroyed because they're fighting each other. So their military power is being destroyed because they're burning up, they're fighting each other. So now their military is diminished. And both of them got a lot of revenge through America. So they say, okay, this is our chance. So nothing can stop us. And so that's why they come. And on the way here, it says they're going to take and burn down Britain. Britain will be totally burned down. On the way here, they'll totally burn down Britain. And so there's been big outcry in America because when they see Britain, they know they're next. And then they move in, they can't stop them. Because most of the military is focused on Armageddon. And they're trying to maintain control of America, martial law, and not able to. Total insurrection. They can't grab anybody, they can't get anybody to work together to fight or whatever. So when China and India pulls up, America is under total being torn apart. Nobody resistant. They come, they will have no mercy. If you look at that, look at the story of Exodus, it says, because the angel Keith tells you there's rivers in the sea. So it says, what happened when the people was about to leave, it says, they opened up the sea and let them pass through. That's what it's talking about. Because at that time when they arrived, the nation of Islam that went through tribulation, remember, because during this time, they're going through, they unite and come to tribulation. They arrive at the West Coast at that time. And so the agreement they make with Master Muhammad, that no one will be able to come and use your nuclear weapons against you or anything. You don't have to worry about that. Because it says in chapter 17 that they was doing this under God's inspiration. So he made an agreement with them. So they, right? So they, when they arrived, they part, let the nation of Islam through, those survived the hard tribulation, let them through. And they closed in and destroyed Pharaoh's army. That's the story, brother, says, and that's where we are. That's you're going to see. I gave it to you in detail, and I watched the weather. That's where we are right now. So I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. Now, so I'm going to play this thing, right? And you can look at it. And this whole thing about the FBI plan, look at it and see if that's not what Farrakhan gave me every point to ask for. That's where we are. That's what you can expect. And it's all predicated on what's happening right now, this war right here. Because see, it's got everybody. Oil, everybody needs reality. But I didn't mention the money part. But they say you can't use dollars. They're going to crash both. It works an atomic bomb. And what happens after that? One, that triggers Armageddon. It triggers total chaos here. It causes the rise of China, India. They say, America's down, let's take them out. That's why the Bible says when their foot slips, it's slipping pretty hard right now. There you go. That's what's happening. That's where we are right now. Okay. I'll leave it there, brothers and sisters. The worst is yet to come. And that's it here, because what's happened over there, I told you that's a big thing. It's going to be so bad. It's going to be a bloodbath over there. A bloodbath. Because when Iran takes that, you have a bloodbath between the Shia and the Sunni. They're going to fight. Shia and the Sunni are going to be a bloodbath over there. Bloodbath. Right? And plus false Israel, that's going to go out great blood. That's going to be, it's going to be horrific. That's what you're going to see in a minute. See, and people here are going to recognize that when they see all that happening over there, it's coming here. And they're going to have heart attacks knowing it's coming. So which they're going to have when it gets here? The worst is yet to come. They're trying to hold on to winter. Springtime. When spring comes in, right? What's the word says? What did it say? Make all things new. When spring comes in, there's no trace of winter left, is there? What are you talking about? Lightning. Master Muhammad's going to be manifest here. When he does, he's going to do something that's going to draw attention to who's the true son of man here. Or is he going to say, hey, Farrakhan's a man? He'll do something and say, no. This is my son, right? I'm well pleased. There'll be a connection between, I say, sunrise, lightning striking east, even to the west. Be that true, same time. Will be manifest same time. When Master Muhammad manifests, right behind that, he's the voice from heaven, that means he's going to validate. He's going to validate. That's why people can receive him easily. He said, the ones you seek, they're going to run to him. Because there ain't going to be no doubt in their mind. Not just because he was correct, because they was hiding that, but because they're going to recognize Master Muhammad, and he's going to say, not son of Sham, not Arab, not Farrakhan, Suleiman. That's my spiritual son. And I'm well pleased. So we'll see who he calls on. Farrakhan. You're going to experience all these things within days, bro, instead of not minutes, hours. Okay, hold on. I'll play this.
Call.
That's all. I was gonna play for a while, but you be the judge on this. Assalamu alaikum.
B'nai B'rith called the protesters messengers of hate that are harming relations between blacks and Jews, and between blacks and whites. We would prefer that there be serious dialogue between responsible Jewish and black leaders who oppose this hateful rhetoric to improve relations and discuss important issues, Bear said in a statement. Muhammad said that by locking their doors, B'nai B'rith and the ADL showed that they are afraid to deal with us head-on. He added, "It would be better to just deal with me because there could be an occasion where we would return with an army." After the abortive protest, another rally against the ADL planned by Muhammad and Shabazz fell flat when officials at Howard University announced they would not be allowed onto the campus. The two have been barred from the university since 1994.
He's getting the fame so that when he turns hypocrite on me, the whole world will see him. I'm telling you what he said. I died at the table. I mean, it was like he had taken a spoke and drove it right through my heart. I couldn't understand why he said it. I didn't know why he would say something like that to me. I was faithful to him in my own way, I thought. I was obedient to him in my own way, I thought. Why would he say that to me? It is because he knew tomorrow better than I knew yesterday. And I lived through yesterday and don't know what tomorrow is, but that man saw tomorrow. He was the most perfect guy that ever could come to a people, brother and sister. But we blew it, man, because we so hateful of our black selves that we didn't believe that God would dare take a black man and not only make him a messenger, but more than a messenger, deposit in the man himself and make a God out of him for you and me. Now listen, brother, I'm not praying here. That man Elijah Muhammad is the most profound individual you will ever meet. I don't give a doggone if you live to be a million. And those of us that walked with him in faithlessness, walked with him in doubt and in suspicion of his divinity, know it better now than we ever knew it while he was among us. We know it now. Look, and I say this with deep humility, man, it pains me to open myself up and see a hypocrite laying inside. But look, how else can a man be healed unless he's opened up to the light and the thing that is in him that is not pleasing to God be removed? You understand? Now here's the messenger looking at me. And because Malcolm told me that the messenger was jealous, and members of the messenger's family had dropped it out that the messenger was jealous, I began to entertain the thought because I couldn't see the future. Now listen. I fought it off, but it was there. Hear this now, beloved. One day in New York, 70,000 people came out to hear the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is the largest gathering of black people, really, I think, in the history of our sojourn in America, to listen to a black man teach wisdom. And this ain't no play. I was so overjoyed, I went to the messenger and I said to him, the apostle, there were 70,000 people. And back in, again, 3 months later, we did it again, and 40,000 came out on a Sunday afternoon to hear a lecture in Randall's Island. And you know, when I was so exultant, you may use the word cocky, you may use the word vain, self-centered, whatever you want to say. When God gives you success, you better learn how to handle it, or that thing will destroy you. And I didn't know how to handle what God was bringing to me. And I'm just being very frank and honest. And this is not negative, but it's so good to understand how merciful God is. He brings you up and show you the power that can come to you, but he knows you can't handle it. He'll drop you right back down and then bring you up in humility so that whatever he gives you, you'll be able to handle it well. Now look, beloved, when I was telling the messenger about this 70,000 and this 40,000, you know what he said to me? He got real sad, and he said, you know, brother, the time is coming when you may go to the temple and there may not be one believer there but yourself. I couldn't believe it. I said, but we got 7,000 Muslims in New York. And here's 70,000 people out there reaching for his teaching. How could I go to the temple and there be no believer there? I didn't know what he knew. I didn't know at all, but he knew it all. Now let me say this and conclude this whole thing. Brothers and sisters, when they announced that the messenger was dead, and his son took the leadership, we all bowed to his son. I think it was a great show of respect for him that no war, no fighting broke out over who gonna be the leader, this, that, and the other. It was one of the most smooth transitions of any black organization in the history of America. But we, in submitting to him, we did not know what he had in his heart. Though we should have had some indication, since historically he had always been in rebellion against his father. But when we saw him standing with his father, we took it for granted he had overcome his difficulty with his daddy, and nothing was more pleasing to me than to see that son return to his father to help carry on his father's work. And even though the father, in truth, now, had told the people to listen to Farrakhan. Yes, he did. I didn't feel qualified to carry on the work, and when Wallace stood up, I said, okay, I will back him. And in sincerity, I backed him. But look at the pause now. The man started teaching against the 40 years work of his father. And the more he taught against his father, some of us went through. I mean, some of the Muslims actually went into insane asylums. Some of the, yes, it's true. Some of the Muslims just couldn't handle it. Some Muslims walked out of that beautiful house on Stony Island, which rightfully belongs to you. See, it don't belong to hypocrites. It belongs to you. And one day it'll be again in your hands if it be the will of Allah. Look, brothers and sisters, the believers walked out. Some stayed there horrified and really petrified to hear a son say things like this against his own father, his own benefactor. Some of the Muslims believed it, took the flag down, took our uniforms off, sisters took off their robes, and to think now that this man who taught us for all these years, that he tricked us, there's too much to bear. So some of the brothers went back in the street, picked up their reefer, and was selling reefer. Some of us went and picked up drugs, harder drugs, sold them. Some of us became pimps. Some of us went back and became worse than we were before we met Elijah Muhammad. It's true. Some of the sisters went back to sweethearting with devils. Some of them had never gone with a devil, but decided I'll try it out. Some of the brothers had never laid with a white woman, decided I'll try it out. I mean, we went totally crazy, brother. There's just a handful that held on to the messenger, and they held on by a thread. Just a thread. But look at what happened. Just look. Let's look at the comma. We're talking about a comma now. And what the comma means. The comma means a pause. Now the pause is here. Wallace has done his work and he failed to destroy his father's name. He failed to destroy his father's reputation. And 4 years ago, this very month, I was awakened from my hypocrisy, from my falling backward. And I stood up and said, I am going to, by our Lord's help, rebuild the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Not my work, not your work, his work. Now listen, that pause, I went all over the world during that pause, and everywhere I went, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching showed me that that man was correct, more correct than I ever believed he was. He was not only correct, but he was right and exact. And there's a difference between just being correct and being right and exact. That means not one jot or tittle of his message should be altered in any way.
Although the Nation of Islam, does not presently advocate violence by its members, the group does preach hatred of the white race and racial separatism. The membership of the Nation of Islam is organized and poses a real racial threat. The Nation of Islam is responsible for the largest black nationalist newspaper, which has been used by other black extremists. The Nation of Islam appears to be the personal fiefdom of Elijah Muhammad. When he dies, a power struggle can be expected and the Nation of Islam could change direction. We should be prepared for this eventuality. We should plan how to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation, deleting the race hatred and separate nationhood aspects. In this connection, Chicago should consider what counterintelligence action might be needed now or at the time of Elijah Muhammad's death to bring about such a change in Nation of Islam philosophy. Important considerations should include the identity, strengths, and weaknesses of any contenders for Nation of Islam leadership. What are the positions of our bureau deletion informants in regard to leadership? How could potential leaders be turned or neutralized? The alternative to changing the philosophy of the Nation of Islam is the destruction of the organization. This might be accomplished through generating factionalism among the contenders for Elijah Muhammad's leadership or through legal action in probate court on his death. Chicago should consider the question of how to generate the factionalism necessary to destroy the Nation of Islam by splitting into several groups, bureau deletion. Do you think that the FBI just folded and walked away? Read this document carefully. Did not the FBI accomplish each of their goals? Did not Farrakhan deliver everything the FBI wanted? We should plan to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation. Sunniism, Scientology. Deleting the race hatred. Don't call devils anymore, Deleting the separate nationhood aspects. We ain't going nowhere. No existing economic program. The reason why these facts are ignored is because those that surround him are demons, fools, idolaters and FBI agent handlers who make sure he stays on track.
My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You are now turning your face from your own native land, turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Acting sick. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that. We want an equal education so that you will know better. But separate schools up to 16 for the boys and 18 for girls, on the condition that the girls be sent to women's colleges and universities. We want all of our black children educated, taught, and trained by their own teachers. Under such schooling system, we believe we will make a better nation of our people. The United States government should provide free for all. Unless the necessary textbooks and equipment for schools and colleges. We believe that is nothing but right and justice that they should build schools and colleges and universities and everything necessary to equip them for the teachings and trainings that we so miserably need and desire. way of righteousness, and the way of peace, and self-respect. And we believe that intermarriage or race mixing should be prohibited between the two races. We want the religion of Islam for our people, and we want it taught to our people without hindrance or suppression. These are some of the things that we, the believers in Allah and Islam, is true religion of entire submission. We are called Muslims of entire submission. We are called Muslims. We who have submitted ourselves to do the will of Almighty God. We are the people that want nothing other than righteousness. And we are the people that want to leave America for our own. Self-inclined. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. You hear the wife will be allowed to drive the back on you? Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I must say this, I have my own brothers be shot. But you asked me a question, and I have to answer you truth. If you look at the message of Jesus, it started first very narrow, among the lost sheep. And Jesus was told, go ye not in the way of the Samaritans, in the way of the Gentiles, but to the lost sheep. And then at a certain point he says, go ye into all the world, to every nation, kindred, and tongue. If you will look at the message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his first was directed to black people because he would give the word condition. But not only are we wrong, the whole human family is wrong. And therefore, have to evolve. And we have to evolve. And I'll close that point by saying, in Christ, there is no Greek, no Jew, no bond, no free, no male, no female. This means that we all are going to have to grow out of rapid nationalism, sexism, racism, materialism, in order to claim Jesus Christ.
This proves that he is an agent for the FBI because he gave him every point that they mentioned, he gave every one of them. You know, stop, raise hatred, calling devils. He gave every point to ask for, every point. This proves. So why are people still with him with all this information? He's not C. Abraham, proves he's an agent, right? And further, you're going to see in a minute, he doesn't even believe in Master Muhammad. He says, Master Muhammad is, you can't believe him because he's flesh. And he prays. If he prays, who he's praying to, then we should be praying to him, whoever Master Muhammad is praying to. He's an agent. Skin folk, not kinfolk. It's clear, brothers and sisters. That's who Farrakhan is.
When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides.
Yes, sir, brother Millie. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, brother Millie. That's real. Both sides.
That's real. Wake us up here, Apostle.
When we was alive, we set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
That's right. That's right.
We owned buildings.
That's right.
We owned farmland.
That's right.
We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
The accuser of our people is cast down. What does that mean? Who is the accuser? Let's give an analogy, brothers and sisters, a mathematical analogy. Say you have a car going down this road at 50 miles an hour, and it's going down the road going north at 50 miles an hour, and there's a westerly wind at 50 miles an hour. Then what direction will that car be going? Well, the math tells us that if you're going in northwest direction because the wind's pushing it west, and it's going to go north, so it's going to be going northwesterly direction as long as that wind is blowing. So whose fault is it that the car is going in northwest direction rather than north? Obviously the wind, because the wind stopped blowing, it's going to continue going north. I mean, that's basic math. So who do you accuse? Who are you blaming for the redirection? You have to blame the wind for that. But if you're blaming the car, that means you're ignorant or you trying to deceive someone. Now that applies to our situation because we're going. We was one way before we came here, right? And now we're going a different way, right? But we impacted by the people that brought us here, right? So they're like the wind and we like the car. So now we're going another direction. So whose fault is that, right? Okay, another way. The wind is blowing. You can't see the wind, but you see the leaves. They say, oh, the leaves are blowing northward. That means the wind must be blowing northward. And you can tell how fast the wind is blowing because how much the leaves are shaking, right? So you can tell a lot about the wind, even though you can't see it, by the effect it's having. By the effect it's having. So the same thing us, because you see, if you know the leaves, how they are when they're sitting there. They have no wind blowing, anything. They were just being there. So they moved. That means there got to be a wind blowing. Same thing. If we're different than we were, that means that difference is based on the fact that they have on us. So if we came over here righteous people, and now we foolish and ignorant and dumb and whores and pimps, that's the fact they have on us. That means that's who they are. See, but they saying that's who we are. They blaming us, right? But that's not where we were here. That's the effect, and now they're blaming us for the effect they have on us. The wind is blaming us for going northwest, when it's the wind that's causing it. You understand, brothers and sisters? Just look at this, okay? And watch this. And this is using vector, right? Vectors are the math, right? Language of force. So look at this. Now that's us going the right direction, vertical, upright, right? And this way was going before this happened. Oh, they came and affect us. But see, they're different from us. If they was the same as us, in other words, the wind was blowing, you had a tailwind, that means you're going to be fast, you'd still be going north. You'd be going faster north because you got that wind blowing in your favor. And the wind is the same as, but it's blowing against you, that means you're going slower, but you're still going the same direction. But if you're going, if it's different from you, right, then, right, like this case, perpendicular, so they different from us. Because if they were the same as us, we wouldn't have changed. So, and what happens? What's the effect of that? Vector tell us that this would happen. Now we go in that direction, and the colors change. So, well, wow, whose fault is that? That's their fault. But they blame it on us. And that's what Farrakhan's doing. He blamed us for what his people are doing, because remember, he's the devil, his father's a devil, that means he's a seed of his father, that means he's a devil. Pure, that's basic biology. He's what your father is. So he's not kinfolk, he's skinfolk. He's like an Oreo, black on the white side and you white on the inside. So he think exactly like they do, so he's blaming us too. Or you remember the so-called Million Man March, the first one? The second was a failure because he blamed, because he had 1 million people out there and then he came out there to blame them. Your fault. You got to atone. You got to repent. You got to stop sinning. The day of judgment is coming. That's all bullshit. That's why they keep pushing that. He's the accuser of us. He's been accused of 40-some years, accusing us for what they're doing, his people are doing. Remember, he's a devil. He's working for them. You understand? So we're blameless, according to, if you understand the scriptures clearly, we're blameless. The blame, the judgment, it says he's not going to judge us. We have a covenant. He's not going to blame us for what happened. He's going to blame and judge the nation for what they did to us. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters.
Look outside of religion to put his ideas together. He looked at Christianity. He might even looked at Hinduism. I don't know. Jainism. Who knows? But I know he looked mostly at Christianity as given in the Bible. Okay? And the Bible says of Christ Jesus, peace be upon him. Not that we follow this, but I'm giving this to show what perhaps influence Mr. Farad. Master Farad. He was a master psychologist. He knew how to deal with people with problems and help them. Okay? So he, I said, looked at the Bible too to see what can he get from the Bible. To help the people who are already in the Bible. We were in the Bible. We believe in the Bible in the church. And he found that Jesus said, it said of Jesus about me, that he took mud and he put on the blind man's eye, and the blind man right away could see. Mud on his eyes. That's what God did. He put mud on our eyes. No, I think to keep us from seeing what we were seeing before. And once the mud is washed off, we can see it strong. We can see what they are. We can see Muhammad. So there is no question that even through the myth and through the methodology, he was an important person. But no one is the question. Look what Farad did. He treated all the people who were coming as years of Islam as students, and he said, what means and methods? He asked the question. What means and methods must be used to solve our problems, to wake us? If he asked the question himself. Yes. According to what Muhammad said to us, Master Farad Muhammad gave him 104 books to study. And Elijah Muhammad said to me, the best of those books was the Holy Quran. And the other 103 all contained aspects of the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The only picture we have of Farad Muhammad is his eyes looking into the Quran. That's true. So what was he teaching us? And lastly on that, I made a tape as a representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I taught something on the history of Jesus as he taught it. And when I came out to the house, he had my tape with red on the back of it. And he said to me, I don't want you teaching what I taught 40 years ago. I want you to teach the meaning of what I taught, because truth was hidden inside of that, but not necessarily that. Then he said, I'm sick and tired of my ministers quoting the Bible He said the Quran is the root of Muhammad, so study the Quran. So to me, there was a man that was moving us in a direction, but we did not want, if I may humbly say this, the old world of Islam to interfere with our coming up. I agree 100%. And I asked myself, why didn't he want the old world of Islam to interfere with our coming up? Because from a humble heart, he taught us to love Islam. To love our world of Islam, to respect our world of Islam. But he also knew that our world of Islam had deviated. And by our coming to the Prophet, who was without blemish, but yet we had to come to him through those who represented him. They didn't always represent him properly. So by keeping us from the old world of Islam and rearing us in this way, when we would come to the Prophet, we would come in a way that we would not allow the corruption of our world of Islam to influence our behavior. That's right. No one would have any disagreement with that. He shared that with me before, too. Yes. It's the second time I'm hearing this from Minister Farrakhan. He shared that with me before, and I appreciate it because I didn't hear my father say that, but I know he said it, and I really appreciate my father telling the ministers that he wanted them to not to stay in the Bible like they were. He wanted them to go to the Quran. And lastly on this point, there's a picture of Master Farad Muhammad reading the Quran, Elijah Muhammad sitting in a chair, and Warithuddin Muhammad with his hand on his father's shoulder with the Quran in his hand. This is his assignment, to preach the Quran. This is our assignment, whether we follow the Imam or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to make the Quran our study. And the more we study the Quran, we will see what needs correction in what Master Farad Muhammad left with us. And to all of the Muslims who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, if you remember in the lessons that Elijah Muhammad answered these questions, and it said that these are very near correct. The question is, who will correct what was very near correct and make it fully correct without disavowing those that started us on this marvelous road toward Islam?
I don't think it's a matter of disavowal, because I hear from Imam Warithuddin also that there is acknowledgement of the tremendous role that Master Farad Muhammad played in terms of bringing the Afro-American community towards Islam. So that's undeniable, uncontested. But what we were trying to sort of separate out was this whole idea, which is the very raison d'etre of Islam, that is unity of God. And if we had, gotten the explanation from you that we were not dealing with Farad Muhammad as God on earth, then we are fine. We can go forward with this discussion too. So
I'm a student of the Bible also.
Yes.
In fact, I began studying the Bible to find out how was I to preach Islam in America. I knew if I was going to preach Islam in America, I'd be preaching to Christians, and they knew the Bible, not what we were going to be giving them. So I should know also what we believe in. And all of the imams, all of the ministers of Elijah Muhammad were told to be acquainted with what they believe in. Then you know how to talk to them. So what I'm getting at is this. I know that Jesus Christ, according to the Bible, he didn't say, I am God. He didn't even say, I am the Son of God. He asked one of his disciples, Peter, He said, Peter, who do you say I am? And Peter said, and Mr. Farad asked all of Elijah Muhammad, who do you say? And he gave the answers, and the answers we have not from Mr. Farad about who is the God, but from my father. So he says his answers were very near correct, as you said. And he said he gave us student enrollment, he gave us English lessons, he gave us history, he gave us problem book. Problem book. My problem book. He's telling us what I'm giving you is problematic. It has problems in it. Yes. It has problems for your destiny, for where I want you to go, to Islam, real Islam. But these problems are going to make your mind work, make your brain work. Yes. So he planned for me to come to real Islam, and it worked. So as we sum up this part of the discussion regarding the belief and the connections with the Ummah at large, are we then saying that we're all here believe in one God and the finality of Prophet Muhammad, and that's where it ends, or that's where it ends? That's where it begins. Yeah, it could begin there. Let's see. And when you're coming this way, I said, I'll be there in September. I'm coming out that way.